Okay, I hope that you have been inspired to hand in an application, as this session will deal with the practicalities. My name is Ann-Kristin Wiklund, and I'm Head of Education at the Host Department. And
Renée Malmgren, I'm Program Officer at the Host Department too.
Before I say anything else, we have received lots of questions about, am I eligible or not? And we cannot simply answer that during this Q&A session because we need to see your records, and your records will be assessed in cooperation with the other partner universities. At Stockholm University, we are managing the application and the admission process in cooperation with all the other partner universities. And to hand in an application, if you press or if you use this QR code, you will come to the program page in the Stockholm University course catalog. And you will get an overview of the program. And if you then press at the red arrow here on the program overview, you will receive more information. And there you can read about all the specific study tracks and all the specific information about those, the eligibility criteria, where to go, at which universities, etc., etc. And when you have made up your mind of a specific study track, you have another big red arrow here in this slide, and it says closed for application. And tomorrow this button will open, and this is where if you press this button, and then you will come to the National Swedish University admission site, because it's actually there you will do the practicalities about how to apply. At this site, most of the information is valid also for these programs. But as this is a bit of a special program, some dates are not the correct ones. Renée will talk more about that. And also the information about fees are not correct in this case. And also this Renée will talk a little bit more about. On this site, you will find a lot of detailed information on how to make an account, how the process is handled, how to upload documents, because this is where you upload all your merits and qualification documents. You don't send them to us in an email. There are also instructions about the English requirements, and what is also really important is to read the specific information per country, because depending on where you come from, you might need to provide a specific certificate of your English merits, and if you come from another country, you don't have to do that. So this is super important to read this carefully. Okay, right. Then, what documents do we require? We need an official transcript in English. We need a diploma certificate. We need proof of English, as I said previously, and that depends on where you come from. We need your CV. We need your ID, and Also, you have to provide an application supplement, which we will provide by a link. And there might also be other documents needed, but that depends on where you come from. And this will be that info is found on the university admission site. Okay, when you have handed in all your documents and those have been validated by the National Swedish Admission Office, that you have a valid documents, the selection process starts. And this is done in cooperation with our partner universities. And what we select from is your grades and a motivation letter, which you will hand in this application supplement to where you have received a link. Another thing that is important to think of is if you apply to several study tracks, you need to think beforehand which one you would like to go to most of all, because if you are top ranked in two study tracks, you will be admitted to the study track where you have the highest priority. And if it's your priority one, your application to the other study tracks will be deleted or removed. So it's important to think ahead which study track you would prefer to go to when you hand in your application. And of course, you don't have to apply to more than one. The maximum is 3. So you can apply only to one. And of course, how many you can apply to will also depend on your background. But everyone with a bachelor will have a study track to apply to. Then I leave the word to Renée.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about participation costs and scholarships. We're receiving many questions about that, of course. The program has a cost for all the students, so it's the same cost regardless of the chosen study track. So for students from the European Union or the European Economic Area and Switzerland, the cost is 9,000 euro for the full program, but you have to make the payment per semester, and that is 2,250 euro. And for students from other countries outside the European Union, the European Economic Area and Switzerland, the cost is 18,000 euro for the full program, and that is 4,500 per semester. So this cost is only for the academic participation and the student insurance. So you have to cover all their costs, expenses, your own expenses, such as living expenses and other things that you may need here. At the moment, we don't have any tuition waivers or fully funded scholarships from the program. We have, on the other hand, an Erasmus Mobility Scholarship that we can offer for students when they are doing their studies outside Sweden, and this is 500 euro per month. And this, depending on which study track you're admitted to, it can be the semesters 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, or 3 and 4. So students are therefore encouraged to search for other opportunities. And if you check the code here, you will open the page of from Stockholm University's information about scholarships, and also check for other opportunities in your home countries. So this is what we have about scholarships. And then there's also very important to keep in mind all the dates. So first, we're opening now for the application period, and it's opening tomorrow. And you will be able to apply until January 15. You have to think about the documents that you are submitting. So you can submit documents even after the application deadline, but the last day is February 2nd. So you have also to pay an application fee that is part of the university admissions fee, so it's not a fee for us. During February and March, we will review your applications, and this when the selection process is taking place together with all the partner universities. And on April 10th, we will publish the admission system will publish the admission results. So we'll be able to know then if you will be coming to Stockholm. The participation costs must be paid no later than May 15th, and this is just for one semester. And then in the middle of May, you will have to apply for housing. And we will, of course, send you more information about this. And then the semester starts on August 31st, and we're looking forward to meet you here. And we will send you all this information with the links that you have that you need for applying and all the details through a e-letter, but please keep an eye on your spam box too, because sometimes it happens. So everything we have explained here about how to apply, which documents you need, and all the useful links, the important dates, we will be sending you more information about it. And we're really looking forward to welcome you in Stockholm, and also our other partner universities are looking forward to meet you. So if you want to know more about CVs, we have here a code, so you can also read more about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you both for this useful information. And then I ask all speakers to turn your cameras on, because that would be much nicer for everyone. And I also ask those of you who listen, potential students, to, if you have more questions, thoughts, concerns, write them in the Q&A channel. I will start with one question that has been answered by Sophie already, but I think we can bring it up here because it's important. So the question is, can the thesis project focus on solving problems for my home country? And Sophie, you answered this really nicely, but maybe you can elaborate a bit on this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the answer is yes, because we're super open when it comes to the thesis project for you to choose something that's really interesting to you and that you really want to be working on. There are always going to be kind of, at some point you have to find supervisors, an academic and a non-academic supervisor. And if you're doing something that will be expensive, like you need to travel and collect data, then that might be more challenging because you need to either find some funding or find someone who already has funding, or find a project that's already working in the area that you're interested in and tag onto that. So there are practicalities that you need to think of, but in principle, we're very open to that. That'll be a very welcome project. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. I thought I would ask one question as well, and I will actually turn this to Sophie and Alistair, because you are those who have done a lot of teaching on the first semester. And this is a question that we have often received when we have been working on developing this program, and that is, when you have students from many different disciplines that study together at the same time, doesn't this get very diluted and superficial? How do you do in order to make it really challenging for the whole student group? Alistair, maybe you want to start.
Thank you, Anna. I think that's a really good question. Because one of our goals in teaching, TRACEE, is to talk to as academic adults and not to dumb it down. And in the experience we've had teaching TRACEE for the first time, our feeling is that most of the barriers to understanding one another's discipline are language. And I mean, what does the terminology mean? Those of you who get accepted to the program are going to be excellent students. Those who were accepted in 2025 are excellent students, and fully capable of understanding all sorts of apparently difficult concepts, provided that we as educators explain them properly. And we're actually notoriously bad about that as educators. So TRACEE is a wonderful experience for us as teachers, because we're We're faced with an amazing teaching challenge. We're not allowed to hide in our terminology. We've got to actually really, really think what our terminology means. So you will be surprised how much you will understand. And we've been really loving reading the evaluations from students, because one of the things that's coming across is, I never thought I'd understand that. And they do, and our students do, and they understand that, because actually the onus is on us as an instructors to teach properly, and then it's all possible. Sophie, maybe you'd like to add.
Yeah, I think I'm just reiterating what you've already said. I think this is actually one of the aspects of this program that I've really enjoyed, because it's a real kind of challenge. You've got to think about how to put these things across in a way that's kind of, I mean, we're on the science side of things, so I want to put things across in a way that's not boring for the scientists in the room, but is actually comprehensible for everyone else. And I think we've there are a lot of teachers on this course, and everyone comes with a slightly different approach. And I think there have been a lot of different ways of approaching this, but there are things like often the topics themselves that we're covering, although you may have a background in science for our things, you may not have studied these parts particularly. So, in that case, everyone's kind of starting from a similar place. But also there may be kind of exercises where you do a slightly different thing. If you're more into one subject or you've got more background in a subject, you can go into it in more depth, whereas others might look at it from a broader perspective. There's a lot of kind of group discussions where everyone brings their insights from their specific background. So, you're able to give what you have, in a sense, to the discussion. So yeah, I think it's worked well so far. I've enjoyed it. I think the students have enjoyed it. I think the teachers have enjoyed it. And it's something we're also kind of figuring out as we go along. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll bring up another question then, which may be directed to Renee and Ann-Christine, and that is something that I see Renee is answering right now, but still might be relevant. So, are the requirements for study tracks strict, or can one still have a chance to get selected if they are missing one type of ECT subject? So I interpret this as, if you don't have all the credits that are required, can you still be eligible?
And then I say you might, because previously, students were doing chemistry or biology or physics, but today sometimes courses are named in different ways, for instance, and that is why we have to do sort of an evaluation of all the credits. For instance, when we are assessing chemistry, we know that biochemistry and molecular biology and could be quite similar in some countries, and that is why it's sort of difficult to say that this is chemistry and this is biology, because they sort of are linked, and depending on the country, a course can be set as biology or as chemistry. So the answer is yes, it might, and also we know that, for instance, in many countries, the amount of credits you get in the blocks are 6 credits. So many students from, for instance, Germany, they have 15 credits in maths instead of they have 12 credits in maths instead of 15 that we require for our study track that we do here at Stockholm. If so, you might be able to study here even if you have 12 credits of math, for instance, because we know this is the way the different systems in the different countries are built. So
good. So the short answer is you might, and it's definitely worth applying if you're interested in the program.
yes.
Yes, good. Alistair, do you have any questions that you have seen that might be relevant to bring up?
There's another question showing up here concerning that Renee's actually flagged that she'd like to answer live. This is concerning if one's a bachelor thesis not finished until April 2026. Can that person still apply?
Yes, you're welcome to apply, but you have to ask your university to give you an official proof that it is your last semester and that you're going to complete your studies or your bachelor's degree before starting the program. So you can find more information about this document at the university admissions page. And of course, you're also welcome to contact us. We have also information about that in our frequently asked questions page. So yes, you're welcome to apply, but it's important to know that you have to have your degree before starting the program. So that's important thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Lennart, did you want to add anything here?
Actually, I have a question to Alistair here. So I am currently doing a sabbatical in South Africa, and interacting here with scientists, you become clear that many of the problems to this trip of planetary crisis are quite different here compared to what it is in the global north. Do you have any ideas about some kind of relationship between the type of thesis projects to be performed addressing specifically issues in the global south compared to the global north?
It's a great question, Lennart, and that's actually also been raised about Southeast Asia in the chats. And Sophie, to a certain extent, has answered that. But I think it's really, really important. So, firstly, yeah. The consequences of climate change are massively different even across our European universities. And once you get into Africa, it's huge difference. And that, of course, opens a doorway for learning as well, because and even right in the first semester, we do engage you as students with our African instructors for that very reason. Perspectives are massively different. In terms of doing your thesis projects, there's no hard and fast rule that they have to be for example, field work or whatever would have to be in a specific place. But you do have to have an instructor who's engaged and knowledgeable enough to supervise the project. I always think when you're choosing a thesis project, that's actually really, really important. That you've got a dedicated, enthusiastic instructor. So there is going to be a large dialogue, and Sophie can jump in and explain this much better about how that can be started within the transdisciplinary stream. But my suggestion is, if this is something that you're passionate about, raise it early in your discussions in the transdisciplinary stream, so that we can have time to find a channel to find the right people for you. Sophie, I think you should probably add to that, because this is your thing.
I don't think I have anything to add to that. I might also pass the ball to Pietro, because it's his thing as well.
Oh, I also have nothing to add to that.
Okay, but the summary is then that we are very open to doing parts of your thesis project in other countries than those where the universities that are part of your study track are located. You will not be enrolled at the university in this other country, like in South Africa, but you could travel there if you have funding for that, and that is something that we would have to look at separately, and collect data, for instance, or run a chemical analysis, or learn a new method, or whatever.
Yes, absolutely. Or work with communities there.
Yeah.
And it's even something we would encourage. One of the things we've been learning as teachers of TRACEE is exactly what Lennart's lifting, mentioning about the vast discrepancies in our perceptions. So it would be very much in line with the TRACEE vision.
There's another question that Renee is answering to right now, but I think it might be still relevant to bring up, and that is about housing. And of course, housing it's challenging to find housing in one location, and when you're moving around, how do we deal with it then? So Renee, do you want to add something here live?
Yes. We help students with information about housing. In the case of Stockholm University, you can apply for housing, and our partner universities also guide all students regarding housing. It is, however, important to know that we don't have a guarantee, and as the housing situation in Europe is complicated, but we will provide also information about how to acquire accommodation through the private market in case the university do not have student housing. So of course we will guide you in this. So you're welcome to contact us with questions too.
And the students that are currently studying in Stockholm, they all received housing through the housing office at Stockholm University. So I don't see any more unanswered questions in the Q&A chat or channel. Does anyone else among the teachers and administrators, do any of you have questions that you think should be asked by the students that we could answer? If not, we will end earlier. Maybe that's a sign that all your presentations were crystal clear and all answers are already asked. But so to you who are listening, if you still have questions, you can of course read at the webpage, which was part of the information that Renee provided, and you will also be contacted, right, so that you can receive information about how to also send emails to our function email to ask questions, and we will guide you and help you in all possible ways. And I hope to see many of you also at TRACEE starting in August. Alistair, what do you want to say?
I just want to say that if any of you potential students have questions about semester one, my email address is in the chat. Send me an email.
Good. Thank you. Then I thank all of you who participated and all of you who have listened, and have a nice day.